A well-known person was arrested last week. A lot of people were shocked because he'd been missing for quite a while and there were rumors that he had died or that he had gone into hiding. It turns out that he was in jail. That's where he was all along. Now, this got me thinking about comebacks. Specifically, how many times have we all made a big entrance back into a place or a gathering only to mumble an apology and then leave without really saying another word? How often do we make a grand entrance into a party only to spend the entire night by ourselves nursing a drink and hoping no one notices that we're there? Or how many times have we come back to a place after a long absence only to find that it has changed in some way that we don't like? I was also reminded of something that a friend of mine told me a long time ago. He said, "You know what? The comeback is always quieter than the fall." He didn't say it in those exact words. I paraphrase. But what he meant was that the return is never as impressive as the departure. When someone or something leaves a place or a group or a job, they usually do so in spectacular fashion. There's recriminations and firings or arguments or storming out the door. But when that same person or thing comes back, it's usually with a meek apology and a whole lot of awkwardness. And then we wonder why we don't like the second time around any better than the first. Now, my friend has worked in corporate human resources for decades, and he has seen firsthand how dramatic exits tend to make a bad situation seem much worse than it actually is. In his experience, most people who walk out the door swearing they'll never come back actually do come back because most people are willing to burn that bridge. But the second time around is always less impressive than the first because most people are too proud to admit they were wrong. So instead of acknowledging that they made a mistake, they try to pretend like nothing happened. They act like they've been there the whole time. So let us not be like that person who makes a big stink about leaving, but then returns without an apology. Let's not be the person who walks out the door vowing to never return, only to come crawling back later on. The truth is, we all make mistakes. We all mess things up. We all say or do things that we later regret. And we all end up wishing we could take back. But wishing and hoping won't change anything. What changes things is admitting our mistakes, learning from them, and apologizing. A simple, sincere apology can go a long way. An apology acknowledges the hurt that we've caused and it shows that we care enough to make things right. It doesn't bring back what was lost, but it can prevent us from losing even more. So if we make a mistake, let's own up to it. Let's apologize and then let's try to do better next time. That's the quietest way to come back, and it just might be the best revenge. I read a story recently about a woman who went to visit her doctor. She had a terrible sinus infection and she was desperate for some relief. She explained to the doctor that she tried everything over the counter, but nothing seemed to work. The doctor listened patiently and then he asked her if she'd ever tried salt water. She was confused, but she agreed to try it. The doctor gave her a prescription for a saline solution and then sent her on her way. She went home and she started gargling with the saline solution. At first it didn't seem to do anything, but after a few days, she noticed that her congestion was improving, and within a week she was feeling 100% better. She went back to the doctor and she thanked him for helping her. He smiled and he said, "You're welcome. I'm glad I could help, but I have to admit, I was a little worried when you came in. You see, I recently graduated from medical school and I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to figure out your problem. But then I remembered what my grandmother used to tell me whenever I was sick. She always said, drink lots of salt water. So I thought, why not give it a try? And it worked." He looked at her and said, "You know, sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Do you have a remedy or advice that has worked for you? Please share it with everyone else."